Today I want to share with you a very powerful exercise to heal trauma in the body and to process stored emotion, because that's what trauma is just like stored emotion in your body that needs to be processed. And this is a really powerful way to do that. So about a year ago, I started to learn about the nervous system and how trauma gets stored in the body and how to heal, how to regulate your nervous system. And I started to do this exercise that at the time I didn't really actually know that this was a healing technique. This was just something that naturally came to me, and it felt the most right thing to do for me to process traumatic events that happened in my past. So it's actually called RESCRIPTIng. I looked it up later. It's basically going back to that traumatic experience that happened where you felt powerless and you felt like you couldn't do anything about it, but you wish that you would have, and replaying it or rewriting it or reenacting it in a way where you did that thing that you wish you could have done or that you know you should have done. Okay, so that's essentially what you're doing. You're reliving the experience, but acting differently from a more empowered way to sort of process that emotion and to kind of get closure on that situation so that it's no longer haunting you or it's no longer triggering you. And in this process, the person that you're dealing with is also doing what it is that you would have preferred for them to do. So they're meeting your need, they're apologizing, they're understanding you, they're owning up to what it is that you're, accusing them of or whatever. Like it's everything is kind of playing out in the idealistic way that you would have wanted. And you're doing this while feeling that pain and feeling that trauma and being in that experience so that your nervous system thinks that it's actually happening live now, which we know mentally it's not, but your nervous system doesn't know now from then. It just is. It's just now. So this is really, really helpful for processing that pain and that trauma that's stored in your body and letting it go so that it no longer triggers you and haunts you. You can do this trauma healing at home by yourself if the trauma is something that isn't like super triggering, but if it's something that's like a deeper wound that you haven't accessed in a while, I highly recommend doing that with a therapist or a professional. And also you can do this for experiences that you had as an adult of trauma that you went through or childhood experiences as well. So for me, I did a lot of this RESCRIPTing exercise with an adult situation that I went through. My ex-boyfriend, I found out had been cheating on me. He betrayed me, and I experienced a lot of trauma from that betrayal, and there was a lot to process through. There was a lot of moments where, interactions that I had with him that I wish I would have acted differently, but didn't. So I went through literally every experience that has stuck with me and kept triggering me afterward, because I knew that it was just like stored, and it was stored as trauma, and there's no way to heal from that unless I do this exercise. So the exercise here is to pick a point in your history that was quite traumatic. Of course, if it's super traumatic, don't open that can of worms without a therapist. But if it's something that you can handle on your own, go back to a point in your past where somebody hurt you, traumatized you. Maybe there was some sort of an argument, or it's a situation that keeps coming up that you're mulling over, okay, that is haunting you, that you're obsessing over, because it probably needs to be processed. Okay, so we're gonna process that situation for you right now in this video. So let's take a few deep breaths and just connect with ourselves. You could put your hand on your chest and think back to that time. Think back to that time that you're trying to process. Think about what this person did to you. What did this person do to you? Think about the situation. Think about how you felt. How did you feel in that moment? We're accessing that time in your life through your nervous system, okay? And you're gonna notice that you're gonna start to feel anxiety. You're gonna start to feel that feeling of discomfort, of unsafety, of trigger, emotional trigger, anger. It's like your inner child is going to be triggered here, okay? And like I said, if it becomes too much for you, then think of start with a lighter experience. It's not as traumatic. But so you're in that place right now where you're having this conversation with this person, or this experience is happening. Something's happening to you that you don't want to happen to you, and you feel powerless. You feel like a victim. You feel like you can't do anything about this situation, and probably in that moment you couldn't. Probably in that moment you were a victim of this abuse or manipulation or gaslighting, and there was no power that you had because you were in this freeze mode, your trauma response, right? But looking back, you feel like, I should have done better. I should have done differently. I should have told this person off. I should have ran. I should have, whatever. You should have done so many things, and you feel bad and you feel guilty and you feel like you can't get over this situation because it's not complete. There's no closure because you were victimized and you felt disempowered and you were betrayed, and that's just not okay. You can't find peace. You can't find peace with that. So as you're imagining that this person is doing what they're doing to you, I want you to do the thing and say the thing that you wanted to say in that moment, or that you should have said in that moment. You pretend the person's right in front of you and you're doing to them whatever it is that you feel called to do now, as you've had time to process and reflect, and what would give you the most power, what would be the most empowering, strongest version of you, okay? That thing that you can do. What is it? And I need you to do that right now, okay? And then so when you're doing this reenactment, I want them to also respond to you in a way that you would prefer, okay? So I don't want you to make up a scenario of the story where they're fighting with you and more gaslighting. I don't want you to create drama and conflict, because the whole thing about this is that we're rewriting the story to be what it is that you would have wanted it to be. I want you to get your justice, okay? So you are getting your justice through doing this exercise. So whatever feels the most justified and fair and like you're being seen and understood, and the most satisfying is the version of the story I want you to reenact and relive and replay in your imagination, and saying it out loud. Like I'm saying, like, say it out loud, yell, scream, hit the person if you want to hit them. If they deserve to be beat up, like beat them up, whatever, smack them, like do whatever, however bad the situation is and however bad the trauma is, like do what you need to do. What you're doing here is you are defending yourself, you're protecting yourself, you're providing yourself a sense of safety. So when you are responding differently to this situation or this person, how is this person responding back to you? What are they saying to you? What are they doing? I want you to do that too. I want you to enact that as well. And I want you to tune in. What is it that you needed from this person in that moment? When you were trying to express yourself and they were dismissing you and gaslighting you, and you felt completely confused and crazy. And then in this version of the story, you're actually telling them that you see right through them and you see their bullshit and you're not okay with this kind of treatment or behavior. If you would to do that in real life, what would you have wanted them to respond? You probably would have wanted them to be like, you know what, you're totally right. You're totally right. I'm sorry. I'm being a stupid idiot. Like, this is the truth. This is the story. Or maybe you want them to apologize to you. Like, I'm so sorry for treating you this way. I'm so sorry that this whole time I have been such an avoidant prick. I don't know. Like, they respond to you in a way that would make you feel so seen, so heard, so understood, so justified, so validated. Sometimes you just need to walk out of the situation in your fantasy. Sometimes you need to kind of hurt the person with your words. That's okay. In this situation, it's okay right now. Okay, to just tell them like what you truly feel. Maybe you need to tell them how they hurt you. And in some situations, you want to resolve it. Okay, you need this to be resolved. Because not every situation calls for a walkout or murder. Some situations call for a conversation and resolution. So if you're still here, I'm just going to sum it up real quick, what it is that you need to do, okay? I want you to tune into yourself. I want you to access a memory or an experience that you had with someone that left you traumatized, where you felt like you didn't have power and you wish that you would have done something differently. I want you to go back to that place and feel the feeling of that, feel the emotion, see what happened. And this person is doing what they're doing. And I want you to respond differently. I want you to respond from that empowered place of what it is that you wish you could have done or you should have done. I want you to do that. And then I want you to imagine this person acting in a way that you want them to act. In a way that would be the most empowering and fulfilling for you. That would give you the most justice. That would meet your needs. Okay? I want this person to come back and meet that need for you. And I want you to sit with that feeling. I want you to sit with that experience. I want you to be with that and feel it with your whole body. And I need you to do this as many times as you need with this specific experience until this becomes your truth and your reality. It doesn't matter what actually happened, okay? You know consciously what happened. That's fine. You're not like, freaking brainwashing yourself. You're just telling your nervous system that something else happened so that your nervous system can heal and feel safe and heal from that trauma. Consciously, you know what happened, but your body now is like, oh, we went back to that situation and we resolved it, okay? To your nervous system, this is resolution. You resolved this situation. It's healing. It's regulating now, okay? So that you can go out into the world and live your life. And when a situation like this comes up again, you're not going to shut down, freeze, fight, flight, whatever. You're going to actually do the empowering thing that you have practiced doing with this situation. So if you are presented with another situation like this where someone is gaslighting you, let's say, your nervous system now feels safe to stand up for yourself or walk out of that room or tell this person off. You know what I'm saying? So you're also like training yourself to feel safe in those moments and be what you need to be. So I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you so much love and healing on your journey, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.